Okay, everybody, today we're going to start the macromolecules. Now, typically when I ask everyone, what are the four macromolecules? It's stone cold silent in here. Then one kid raises their hand halfway up and says, carbohydrates? And I'll say, yes, that's one of the four macromolecules. And everybody else knows, oh, I know what we're talking about. So let's kind of do this. What are the four macromolecules? Carson said carbohydrates. What are the others? Lipids. We're going to do those on Tuesday. Proteins will be Wednesday, and nucleic acids will be Thursday. So today is going to be macromolecules, aka biomolecules. Part one. Carbohydrates. Now, with a quick recap on biochem, there are about 6 elements that make up 96% of living things: insects, arachnids, humans, whales, trees, bacteria, fungi, you name it. Chris, can you tell me one of the 6? Yep. So we have carbon. Another. Isabella. Hydrogen. Another. Oxygen. Keep them coming. Phosphorus. Phosphate's different. Close. 2 more. Nitrogen. 1 more. Yeah. Schnapps. Now, I would tell my AP Bio kids, okay, guys, these are the 6 that make up life. Now on the exam, it says, which 4 elements make up life? It can be a little confusing. These 4 are the main elements. These 2 are like sidekicks. Together, they're the most abundant in any organism. Now, if you're wondering about the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the sodium in your nervous system, that's the other 4%. They're trace elements. By the way, anybody here have to stay after school today and make up the test? 2:40, okay? 2:40. Go do what you got to do. School's over at 2:30. You have 10 minutes. Go to the bathroom, go to the car, whatever. Be here 2:40. All right. Which of these 6 elements would you say is the most important? It's what all life on this earth is founded in, Lance. Carbon is the most important. In fact, there's 2 classes in college that if you decide to pursue anything in science, biology, medicine, nursing, doctor, veterinarian, pediatrician, anything like that, you need to take organic chemistry 1 and organic chemistry 2. Now, a lot of you just raised your hand when I asked you if you were a student athlete. A lot of you could probably attest, I know I can, when I was in high school playing sports, that the first week of practice is always the toughest because the coach is like intentionally trying to get you to puke, running you like crazy. Part of that is to get the quitters out. We don't need to waste our time with them, get them out. That's what organic chem 1 and 2 are. So if any of you have to take those, you're a freshman or sophomore or junior year of college, keep that in the back of your mind. This class is a weed out class. It's meant to see who can hang and who can't. I've asked a lot of med pros. Have you ever had to use organic chem? Not really. It's just a class to see, do you have what it takes to stick with a type of program like that? Or are you meant for something else? And either one is fine, but it really opens your eyes. All right. So nonetheless, what I'm getting at is carbon is in anything that we consider to be organic. We are organic life forms. Animals are, plants are, protists are, bacteria are, and fungi are. Life on this earth is carbon-based. We are organic life. When you hear the word organic at the grocery store, they're basically just talking about pristine foods with no pesticides or herbicides and no additive chemicals. It's just all natural. That's what organic means in the store, but in biology, it means carbon. So the first macromolecule or biomolecule, again, same thing, that we're going to talk about today and the only one we're going to talk about today, are carbohydrates. Now, you're welcome to follow along on your homework sheet and fill some in as we go. I will get all but one. I'm going to give you guys number 18 at the end of class, but the rest of them you will get in your notes today. Okay, let's discuss the elements that are found in carbohydrates. Of those 6 elements, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur, there are 3 that are found in carbs. And if you kind of look in the name, carbohydrates, it kind of tells you what they are. Can you tell me what the 3 are? Carbohydrates. What elements, Chris? Hydrogen and oxygen. Those are 2, one more. The foundation of every living or biomolecule on Earth, carbon. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are the 3 elements that make up carbohydrates. Now, something that's unique with carbohydrates is that when you look at the carbon and the hydrogen and the oxygen, they occur at a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. That means for every 1 carbon atom there's 2 hydrogen atoms and there's 1 oxygen atom. So as an example, glucose. Let's see if y'all can fill in the blanks. If glucose has 6 carbons, based on the 1 to 2 to 1 rule, if it has 6 carbons, Grace, how many hydrogens must it have? 12. And Carson, how many oxygens must it have? 6. That's 1 to 2 to 1. The number of hydrogens is typically double the number of carbons and oxygens. And that's a rule for almost every carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are sugar. When you think of sugar, you might think of that white stuff that gets you really hyper on Halloween. I'm not talking about that stuff, I'm talking about the food stuff. Carbohydrates are sugar. You may be thinking of table sugar, the stuff you can buy at Publix, but it includes starch, it includes glycogen, it includes milk. Milk is sugar. Yeah. There's a lot of different foods that are sugar, but whenever you hear me say sugar, I'm referring to carbs. Let's talk about the types of foods. Can you narrow some down for me? Don't worry about the artificial ones like cakes and brownies and candy and soda. We all know that has sugar. Soda has like more sugar than you need in a couple days. It is way too much. That's why they're starting to come out with that sugar-free Pepsi and there's sugar-free Gatorade because way too much sugar. That's what leads to diabetes. What are some foods with carbs? You go to the restaurant, you order blah. Blah has a lot of carbs. Can you tell me what some food blah would be? Potatoes. All right, so what type of food is a potato? Now that's the type of carb it has. So like the food pyramid, where would potatoes fall? Are they a meat? Are they dairy? What are they? Plant. Oh my gosh. This is all going to be on YouTube. On the top of the food pyramid, you have your sweets. On the base of it, you have grains. You guys know what's on the next level? Yes. Fruits and vegetables.
I was going to say potential.
I was going to say, but I didn't because I was scared. Yeah. Because in 10 years, when we have our high school reunion, we're going to remember that one time Carson spoke up in class. Oh my God, you guys remember that in 2021? Oh my God. Speak up, Carson, who cares? Fruits and veggies. Do apples have sugar? Bananas? Fun fact, you probably see on all these cartoons and video games and like Donkey Kong or something that monkeys and apes love bananas. I'm not saying they don't eat them, but do you know what would happen if they ate nothing but bananas? They get diabetes. There's way too much. There's a lot of sugar in bananas, a lot. It's a fruit. Strawberries are fruit. Pineapple is a fruit. They have a lot of sugar. Carrots, potatoes, corn, those are veggies. Those have sugar. Another one. Lance. Yeah, grains, wheats, and bread. Personally, I try to cut down on a lot of bread. You know, bread is not that good. You shouldn't feed it to birds, by the way. Is bread a naturally occurring food? No. Why feed it to an animal? They can't process it. They get sick. They don't know any better. It makes them think they're full when they're not, and then they starve, and they think, oh, I'm full, and they starve, and they die. You want to kill the duck? Give them bread. Don't feed the birds bread. And then things like alcohol, beer and wine. Wine has a lot of sugar. Do you know what vodka comes from? No. Potatoes. Vodka comes from potatoes. Potatoes are packed with sugar. Beer is like liquid bread, and you get that beer belly. If you stop drinking beer, you lose a lot of weight. There's a football player for the Miami Dolphins a long time ago. He said, I stopped drinking alcohol and I lost like 20 pounds real fast. You lose a lot of weight if you just cut that out. There's a lot of carbohydrates, because what do carbs turn into if you just eat them and you lie around? They turn into lipids, which we'll get to tomorrow. Carbs are fine if you burn them, but nobody goes to the bar, has a few drinks, and says, I feel like running off Bayshore now. No, they just go home and lay down. Okay, so let's do carbohydrate molecules. There are building blocks for carbs, and then there are the chains. Here's a Gasparilla necklace. There's probably about 100 little beads making up this necklace. This necklace is one unit, but it is made up of smaller pieces, just like my floor is made up of tile. It's one floor made up of a few hundred tile. The ceiling is made up of ceiling panels. The wall over there is made up of bricks. The individual units, the beads, if you will, are called monomers. Let's see. Who am I gonna call on? Isabella, what do you call the monomers of carbohydrates? They're all carbs are sugar. She didn't even take AP Bio. Now? Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm still getting used to names. Sorry, Grace. I'll remember it now because I've messed it up so much. Monosaccharides. Yeah, if you're currently taking AP Bio, we just did this last week, so you should be knocking this out. Now, in this class, you are going to learn a tremendous amount of Latin and Greek. What does mono mean? Mono means one. What does saccharide mean? Saccharide means sugar. A monosaccharide is one sugar. It's an individual unit. And then we have polymers. It is a large complex composed of monomers. And for carbohydrates, Isabella, you want to redeem yourself? What are the polymers of carbohydrates? Bigger. Yeah. Polysaccharides. What does poly mean? Poly means many or multiple. And saccharide means sugar. This would be like a huge chain. So everybody, you don't need to draw this. I just want to show you. You're going to get this in a moment. If this is one molecule, it's shaped like a hexagon. That's one monosaccharide. A polysaccharide would just be like that hundreds of times over. I'm not going to draw them hundreds of times over. I hope you get the idea. But it just keeps going and going and going. So on and so on and so on and so on. Huge units. So many monomers just bonded together. All right, so I want to talk further about monosaccharides, the monomers. Now, this is human anatomy and physiology, so you need to know what role this has in the body. Monosaccharides are called simple sugars. They're as small as you can get. These are able to diffuse through the intestinal wall and into your blood. So after school today, Lance is going to work out, trying to get all swole, work at the gym, chest day. He's going to work out a lot, and then he's going to have a big meal. He's going to try to build his muscles up, because whenever you go to the gym and you work out, you're actually damaging your muscles. But if you give your body the proper nutrients, you can build your muscles up. When they recover, they'll get bigger. So Lance, you're going to have some salmon, you're going to have some rice, and you're going to have some broccoli. That rice is filled with sugar. How does the sugar in the rice get into the muscles in your chest, in your arms, and so on? How does it get there? Yeah. Your digestive system breaks it down to its smallest possible form, monosaccharides. And as I just wrote, once you have it in the monosaccharide form, it can just slide through your intestinal wall, go into your bloodstream, and then circulate throughout your whole body, like to your muscles or your brain. Here is the actual monosaccharide molecule, your general molecule. I'm only going to draw this elaborate one once, and after that, I'll just draw hexagons. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And you have to have it in your diet for cell respiration. So here we go. What's the main shape you see in there? It's a hexagon. This is called a hexose. How many is hex? Hex means 6. And what does os mean? Anybody know? Os means sugar. Any word that ends with O-S-E generally means sugar. I can't think of anything that wouldn't mean sugar. Glucose, fructose, galactose, sucrose, maltose, lactose, cellulose, amylose. Most sugars end with OSE. Deoxyribose in DNA, ribose in RNA. But it's not, when you hear 6 sugar, it's actually 6 carbon sugar. I'm going to highlight the carbons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbons right there. Booyah. C6, H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. C6, H12, O, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C6H12O6. That is a a sugar molecule. That's a monosaccharide. And here's this the 3 types I want you to know. Glucose, fructose, and galactose. Glucose is blood sugar, by the way. Almost everybody knows at least one diabetic. I have a couple students who are diabetic. It's an issue of blood sugar. and not being able to metabolize it. You guys will learn that when we get to the endocrine system, hormones. Fructose is very sweet tasting. What fruit has the most fructose? Think of Hawaii. Pineapple. Pineapple is loaded with fructose. And the galactose is found in milk. Good. All right. Chris, what do you call two monosaccharides bonded together? A disaccharide. Now, bi means two. Di technically means double. This means double sugar. Same thing, I know, but if you want to be technical, bi means two and di means double. So it's basically the same thing. A disaccharide is two monosaccharides bonded together. It looks like this. There are three disaccharides I expect you all to know. And not only do I expect you to know these three, I need you to know the monosaccharides that combine to make them. It's basically 1 + 1 = 2. The first one is sucrose. This is commonly known as table sugar. Don't get that confused with table salt. Table salt is sodium chloride. Table sugar is sucrose. The two monosaccharides that combine to form sucrose, I'm going to kind of clue you in on. One gives you a lot of energy. The other one gives you a sweet taste. What two monosaccharides would combine to give you sucrose? It is glucose and fructose. GLU for glucose and FRU for fructose. It's what all parents and teachers are afraid of on November 1st. Because all the kids have stuffed their face with sucrose on Halloween. And they're going crazy. Next one is maltose. This is found in a lot of grains. It's found in Ritz crackers, noodles, bread, you name it. This is going to be glucose plus glucose, two glucose molecules. Think about it. Plants produce glucose. That's what they do in photosynthesis. Bread and grain are all from plants. And then the last one is going to be lactose. I know you've heard this before. This is glucose and galactose, G-A-L for galactose. Anyone here lactose intolerant? So here's what happens. Guys, you all are called mammals because mammals have mammary glands. The mothers provide milk for their young. No other animal does that. However, is it normal for an adult mammal to drink and digest milk? No. Now, is it normal for not only an adult mammal to drink and digest milk, but drink milk from another animal? No. That's very, very weird. But here's what happened. Your ancestors drank milk from their livestock when farming first became a thing, and they just kept drinking and drinking it, and they adapted to it. Initially, their bodies rejected it. They would throw up, maybe get some stomach aches, diarrhea, but they continued to do so. And we have bacteria that lives in our guts that helps us digest food. The bacteria in their guts adapted to lactose, and they learned how to break the bond. So just imagine this. Let's say here is lactose. If you can drink milk without any problems, here's glucose, here's galactose. Here's what your bacteria can do. You ready? Here it goes. Boop. Break that bond. That's it. But for those of you that are lactose intolerant, your bacteria cannot do that. And here's why. It's basically one of two reasons. One, your bacteria is not mutated like the rest of us. I know my bacteria, Carson didn't raise her hand, Isabella didn't raise her hand, so they can drink lactose. their bacteria are mutated to where they can break that bond. If your bacteria cannot break that bond, then they did not develop that adaptation and they're not mutants. The other one could be that your family, and I'm talking about thousands of years ago, never drank the milk of livestock, and so they never had a chance to develop that mutation. There are cultures around the world where they just didn't drink milk, and so they never had the opportunity to develop that mutation. All right, human evolution. And then we have the big ones, the big sugars, the giant ones, polysaccharides. This means many sugars. We're talking hundreds. If you're wondering what does many mean? I mean hundreds of them. These are large molecules composed of monomers. Just like a Gasparilla necklace, it's one necklace, but it's made up of hundreds of beads. There's two types of polysaccharides, and they have two different functions. I know we haven't done the functions yet, but we'll get to them. The number 4 on your worksheet, we'll get that. But for polysaccharides, there's two types that are short-term energy. And there's one that is there's 3 actually that are protection. So let's do the short-term energy. This word is accompanied by a mental block. The majority of my students that learn this don't remember this. They can't remember the word. I don't know what it is. It's like a mental block. Everybody knows ATP or glucose, that's easy. But this word doesn't work. So I hope you guys can prove me wrong, make me happy. This is called glycogen. This is stored in animals. This is short-term energy polysaccharides stored in animals. There's 2 types of body parts that this is stored in. Your skeletal muscle, like your glutes, your pecs, your triceps, your biceps. So it's stored in muscle. And your kidneys. Whenever your blood sugar levels are very low, your body releases it from these areas. So you have some energy. This is why if you starve yourself, your muscles get smaller, because your muscles are filled with sugar. If you starve yourself, your body is going to get the sugar from your muscles to power your body. Okay, and then we have amylose. Amylose is also called starch. This is stored in plants. Think about the anatomy of a plant. Where do plants tend to store the majority of their energy? The roots, very good. Aren't potatoes very starchy? Lots of sugar in potatoes. A potato is a root. It's underground. Carrots are very starchy. Then we have the 3 for protection. The first one, I hope you guys remember. If you want to do a little experiment, here's an experiment. Have corn and don't chew it. What's going to happen? Lance? Nothing. What do you mean by nothing? It's not going to digest, and where will you see it? You'll see it in your poop. Whenever I take my dog out in the field and I'm running him around trying to wear him out, he'll eat some grass. A couple days later, he poops. I scoop up his poop. There's grass in the poop. It's no different. Our bodies cannot chemically digest plants. We have to chew it very, very well to get it opened up because of this carbohydrate, cellulose. It's the reason why we can't digest corn. It's the reason why my dog has grass in his poop. It's a plant. It's found in the cell walls of plants. Very tough to digest. Cattle eat grass, they swallow the grass, or excuse me, they eat grass, they chew it, they swallow it, it churns in their stomach, they throw it back up in their mouth, they chew it again, and then swallow it again. So it's basically been through digestion twice. Rabbits will eat grass, digest it, poop it out, and then eat their poop and go through the whole process again. So it's basically been digested twice. If you want to get really gross, a koala a baby is unable to process eucalyptus, which is the leaves that they eat. So it will hang out near its mother's butt and eat its mother's poop. Yeah, it's already been digested. If you believe in reincarnation, don't ask for a koala. All right, cellulose. Then we have chitin. Chitin is in fungal cell walls and exoskeletons. What types of animals have exoskeletons? Lance? Insects, arachnids, crustaceans. Hold on, throw this last one in here. Peptidoglycan, bacterial cell wall. Man, that bell snuck up on me. All right, as you guys go, I'll tell you number 8.